Fellow broadcaster Adrian John from KMFM in Kent joins us. Adrian, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Now, I was busy talking about other matters when one of my colleagues told me the story that you have to tell us. Please start from the beginning, put in all the detail, cross the T's and dot the I's. I'm going to enjoy this.
Okay. Well, in fact, I'm a freelance broadcaster with a number of stations. That's one of the stations that I work with. But we were getting phone calls from members of the public saying that the mobile camera vans, which are actually manned by civilians, were parked by the side of the road, nicking people for speeding, and then driving off through the very areas they'd nicked people, speeding themselves. So what we did, we got in touch with a guy called Chris Rogers, who was in charge of the Kent and Medway Camera Partnership, still is, and said to him, "What's the score?" So he said, "Well, look, let us defend ourselves. We'll come on a program with you." So he came on a program for an hour and was given a wonderful platform to say how good the job was they were doing, that their vans weren't speeding. And he challenged me. He said, "I challenge you to actually police us and see if you can catch any of us speeding." So we set about doing that, and we caught 7 of their mobile camera vans speeding. We followed that up with another little surveillance operation, and this time, last week, we caught the chairman of the Kent and Medway Camera Partnership, whose name is Keith Hanshaw, and we caught him speeding over a 4-mile period. He was going 60 in a 50, 50 in a 40, 40 in a 30. And we thought, you know, that'll be fine. They won't really worry about that. They'll just obviously face up to it, apologize, and be very grown up about it. In fact, they wouldn't comment. We asked them several times if they could come on a program, if they could talk about it or give us some information, and they just said they would make no comment at all. Today, 2 police officers turned up at my home and served me with an anti-harassment order, which means that I am now prevented from catching the chairman of the Kent and Medway Camera Partnership. I'm now prevented from catching him speeding, either as his role with the partnership or his other role, he's the head of road safety for Medway Council.
This is too good to be true. I first of all, I'm not legally qualified, but I would get some information if I were you, too sweet, on the legality of that document, because I don't think it's a legal document. Right. And secondly, congratulations. Yeah. But stay with us, because I'd like to bring into the conversation Paul Smith, who, as everyone listening to this program knows, is the man who is involved and runs Safe Speed. Paul, good evening. Good morning.
Good evening, Mike. Good evening, Adrian.
Good evening, Paul.
Isn't that a cracker?
Absolutely marvellous. They're just not up to it, are they? They want to enforce their petty regulations against us, but they can't observe them themselves.
I don't know where we go with this from here, but it just excited me so much, because I get so much flack from the police myself over things that are said on this program, and the things that I've said and encouraged others to say, that I thought, this is one back for the good guys.
Yeah. I've actually got a quote here, Mike. This is an interview that Keith Hanshaw did with BBC News, and I pulled this off the internet. And he points out to people who are speeding that we intend to both change motorists' attitude to road safety and show them that our aim is not to catch them speeding, but to stop them from speeding in the first place. Now, the point about this is that if he was just an ordinary member of the public, you know, I mean, I'm not a saint. I've sped in the past, and I might do it a little bit in the future. But the point is, it's not my career to find thousands of people and make, you know, a whole industry out of specifically this very black and white attitude to exceeding the speed limit. But it is his job to do that. So the very least we as the public expect is that he should abide by the doctrine that he's trying to make us believe in. And if he doesn't believe in it, he's got a choice. You know, he can just step down from the job and do something else.
But you'd already been challenged to do this by the police.
Yes, I've been challenged by the partnership. They actually challenged me on a radio program, and I've not only shown that what the public were telling us is true, but I've actually shown that it goes not just from the guys who run the vans, but right to the top of the partnership, to the chairman.
What did you use to catch them?
We did it with video camera, and we did it with concealed video cameras in vehicles. And in fact, the partnership challenge, they said they're not calibrated, and I said, hang on a second, Don't talk about reliability of cameras. Your cameras can get bounced off absolutely anything.
Yeah, brick wall at 28 miles an hour, for instance.
Exactly, yeah. And they can get one little flash over a moment. But following somebody for 4 miles, you don't only just see the fact that they're breaking the speed limit, which can be easily checked against the distance on the road, if they don't believe my commentary and any other information we've got on the screen, but you also get other flaws in their driving style, like, for example, whether they're driving too close to the vehicle in front, whether they're not indicating. So it's actually a massive, a lot of information and very, very firm evidence that they just don't respect the laws they're trying to enforce.
Where can we go with this, Paul? What can happen now?
Well, I'd certainly like to see Adrian's footage picked up by a TV company. That would be interesting. Obviously, the public needs to know more about what's happening, why it's happening, the way these people are behaving. I think the critical truth is that none of us are actually able to stick to the speed limit rigidly, perfectly, continuously, without error. And of course, that's what we're expected to do by
It'd actually be dangerous if we did, but that's another issue.
Well, that's absolutely true. And the more they focus us, the more they force us to focus on the speedometer, the speed limit signs, the risk of cameras, the less we're focusing on the road ahead.
Indeed.
And of course, there's nothing that matters more than paying attention to the road ahead when we're driving. That's what we've got to do.
There are those who are going to be supporting the police in this and saying we had no right, or Adrian had no right to do it. It's not his job, and it's all very well for him on one occasion to go out and catch people. But these are the people who will not listen to any reason you may give. And of course I've been speeding. I don't for a moment say I haven't. But I don't drive dangerously, I don't drive carelessly, and I don't put anybody else at risk, ever. That is an absolute golden rule with me. And yet I get preached at by these pillocks who really believe there's something up and above and beyond the law, and then challenge someone on a live radio program. I mean, they're asking for it, and then they go and do it.
And they've got it, haven't they?
I mean, hole in one, you know. This is too good to be true.
Yeah. I mean, just about a week before I got there, Mr. Hanshaw, I was in the west of Kent, in a very prosperous place called Sevenoaks, and there was one of their vans parked down by the old police station, and he was catching people coming down a hill, and it was fascinating to see these people coming out the garage and the cars just gathering a few miles an hour down the hill, and there he was zapping them one by one. So we put the tabs on him, we watched him. He was doing it for about an hour. He must have made a few £1,000, and we followed him. He left, and he was a very good boy for about a mile, and he observed 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. Then he went into a 40-mile-an-hour limit, and he started driving at 50. He then went into a 30 limit, and he was driving at 40. And then, amazingly, he went into a 20 limit, which we are all told, you know, these 20 limits are there for very good reasons, and he was driving at 30 all the way through. And when he stopped, we got out quickly, got the camera around to the front of the van and said, could you explain how you've just been sitting, how can you actually do that? How can you sleep at night knowing you've just nicked all those people in Sevenoaks, and then you've just driven through the town speeding all the way? And he said, oh, it's you, Adrian John, you're telling lies about us on the radio. And I said, look, the camera doesn't lie, you know, and I'm afraid that's the arrogance of these people.
Well, it certainly shows them in their true colours. I know it seems in some ways petty, but we have been under such pressure, been under the cosh for so long, so unfairly, that it is hardly a surprise that people are now taking the opportunity to fight back. Congratulations, Adrian. Thank you very much for joining us. Paul, thank you.
Pleasure.
We will pick this up again. It's just given me, I'm sorry if it seems childish, and I'll hold up my hand if you say, you childish, stupid little boy. Why are you getting so much pleasure out of that? I'll say, because I am. That's given me a real thrill. And I'm almost ashamed at how excited I feel by it. 08704 20 20 20 is the number if you want to comment. This is TalkSport.